Hello, I am Umbrenero and welcome back to Umbrenero's Life. Today's video is my husband redid my office. Back in the spring, I was complaining that my office did not have the best layout. Well, my husband decided to help with my problem. So, first thing first, I had to take everything out of my office. And with the amount of stuff I have, this took a while. And at one point here, I knew I was going to need help just with getting everything off of the single bookshelf. So I started pulling books from it, and my husband started to grab the piles and bring them to our dining room as a temporary holding place. But while I was pulling books off, I was also wiping my shelves down a little bit because it's been a while. And yes, I have a lot of very thick books, and they are not light, so moving them is a chore in itself. And this collection has only grown since my office was redone. So you'll see what I mean by that here eventually. So while I was out of my office for that little bit of time, I was looking how many books were on our table, and I was pretty shocked by how many were there. So a question ended up happening of what am I going to do with a few of the paintings that I had on this bookshelf on the side there. Well, the way we moved my bookshelves around, those paintings were able to stay there and stay hung up that way until very recently, where a few other things had changed around. But now it was time for the other bookshelf in my office, which had a lot of my little dragon statues, a lot of Pokemon cards, and a lot of other items just needed to get cleaned out. Luckily, I was not moving that filing cabinet, so that got to stay right where it was, which was one less thing to move. And having help to redo an office actually makes it go a lot faster than if you were trying to do it by yourself, because then you have someone there that can help you with all of the heavy lifting, like holding all of those cards, because moving them by myself would have taken a bit. I could have done it, but it would have taken a while, because I was very tempted to start looking at them. And then you find a lot of various other little knickknacks that it's like, oh, I thought I lost this, or oh, I had this whole time. So my little hook there had to go away that held my camera bag, and things happen like that. I found a new place for my hook, so I have a storage spot. But just getting everything taken off of here took a while. So as my husband was taking my dragons down from their little shelf, I was being distracted by other things and not quite getting a whole lot done, but still got some stuff done. And yes, there were books on that bookshelf as well, but not as many, and they were all limited to the very bottom shelf. But that is what it is. So we were trying to figure out where my desk was going to go, because it is a tempered glass desk, and I didn't want to bring it out of the room, and we were going to try to move it without taking all the furniture out, which was surprisingly doable. It just took some maneuvering. So my biggest task, other than emptying the one bookshelf, was making sure my desk was cleared off and actually somewhat clean. So that meant actually putting stuff away and just trying to actually organize where things were. So here, my husband actually was able to move the one bookshelf out of the way. We were moving my little work table just to kind of get an idea exactly where my desk would end up. And with how my work table is built, we had to be very careful with it because it would have fallen apart otherwise. So I was still moving around a lot of smaller things, and my husband started to take apart my computer setup with my laptop and all of that stuff, just to make it a little bit easier for moving the desk, so that way we didn't have to worry about it. Like, he does a lot more of the techie stuff, so I trust him a lot more than myself with this part. And now was moving the desk. And yes, there were times where my camera decided, I don't want to focus on what you're doing. I will focus on the wall behind you. But it happens. But we moved the one bookshelf, figured out where it was going to go. And we got it in place, so that way it was pretty good. Didn't have to worry about it. And then it was moving everything onto the bottom shelf of the bookshelf that was here yet already. So that way we could move my work table because it was in the way of the desk. But first we had to move all the random stuff I had stored throughout my office that we were just pushing around and not actually moving. And I still wanted access to that plugin, so we found a spot that worked. Had to make it so it could get behind the table yet, so that way I could get to the bookshelf and all of that. Eventually we did do the door test to make sure we could open the door with the desk there. Because if we couldn't, that would have been a problem. But I believe we did that after we finished moving the desk. So you can see we got the second bookshelf in. And this, I believe, was the next day because I think we just called it a night and I had to start putting things away, but that was its own fun project. Because a lot of things I just threw on my work table as soon as I was all done, and I had to just get things put away better than they were before. And yes, I was getting distracted like usual by something else in the other room, which shouldn't really come as a surprise. So, in all, this new way I have my office laid out is a lot better. And I'm able to actually get more stuff done and not have to run around and try to figure out, okay, how am I going to make my camera reach here? So it works pretty good. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I am Umbrenero. Bye!